So we're talking about a talk exclusive, over £3 million spent by the Ministry of Defence on diversity, equality and inclusion training. Still joined by Philip Ingram, who is a former senior military intelligence officer. Now, the Ministry of Defence says that in a competitive age, our strength lies in the talent and skills of our people. We want to recruit and retain the best people drawn from the broadest diversity of skills and background. Now, Philip, actually, what's interesting is that's what you're arguing is actually a good thing when there is a diverse set of skills and background. But what you're saying is actually what the Ministry of Defence is calling diversity in that statement is not actually the kind of diversity inclusion that's happening within the forces.
Yeah, let me tell you what this directorate is responsible for, and the 30 million quid, and the only time that they've actually broken the law when it comes to diversity. So that's setting the scene. They're responsible for staff network consultants to work alongside staff networks and improve experience and opportunities of colleagues in minority groups within the Ministry of Defence. Policies and projects, a policy and project team to develop projects and policies which enable the defence to become a more diverse and inclusive employer, and then to measure change, so to colour in their little charts and say whether they're actually doing this. That's not affecting frontline military capability in any way, shape or form.
So
There's always been diversity in the front line. This is staff wokery.
So you wouldn't have an objection to perhaps the department saying, look, that there needs to be someone who is thinking of ways in which to encourage all sorts of backgrounds in wanting to come into the military. That you don't object to. It's when
not at all. That's really important.
And so that amount of diversity is kind of okay. It's when it becomes something that is something that sort of manifests into something different that you think it goes too far.
Yeah, we've got, you know, the amount of funding that's come in has grown exponentially since the creation of this appointment in 2021. Before that, we had diverse capability, and we had people thinking about how we recruit from different ethnic minority groups so we become more representative, so we've got the right people when we deploy to different operational theatres. That was all being done for, you know, a fraction of the amount of money that's being spent now. All of this amount of money is being spent on your WOKERY little coloured charts to do tick box exercises.
Just one final point for you there, because 6 months ago, one of the British Army's first Rastafarian guardsmen won a claim of race discrimination against the Ministry of Defence. You're probably aware of the case. He was in a guard room. A white guard didn't believe he was a soldier. He made a complaint, and then he was accused of playing the race card. When you hear of cases like that, though, does that not actually justify all this money being spent by the Ministry of Defence, or do you think actually this is such an isolated case that the money still doesn't justify it?
Yeah. In any organisation where you've got 100 to 150,000 human beings, you're going to get one or two individuals where you're people with individual prejudices who haven't done the training or have ignored the training or who haven't read the policy documents and bits and pieces will get it wrong. They'll bring their personal prejudices into something that in our now increasingly litigious society leads to individuals suing the MOD for, you know, what happened here. It was wrong. That happens everywhere. It's just
and it doesn't justify perhaps the thousands and thousands and millions actually now being spent on it, in your opinion. I get where you're coming from. Thank you, Philip Ingram, former senior military intelligence officer. Really interesting conversation.